Hello, today I am going to show you step by step how to create a Razor application in Visual Studio 2026 and how to connect to MySQL database and fetch record from the database. So I am now showing you from the very beginning. First of all, I will open my installed Visual Studio. So this is a Visual Studio 2026. If you don't know how to download Visual Studio 2026 and install, comment in the comment box and I'll show you how to install Visual Studio 2026. So here, first of all, what you have to do, you will create a new project and you will find a lot of options here. So I will pick the Razor. So I will go down. If you don't find this, then you can just search here. Here, ASP.NET Core Web App Razor Pages. Since I am using Visual Studio 2026, so when you install Visual Studio 2026, it will install .NET 10 framework. So .NET 10 is the latest version of .NET Core. So I'll choose the ASP.NET Core Web App Razor Pages C#. This option I will select. I have already selected this one, but for this tutorial, I will show you next. I will give a name and place a solution and project in the same directory. Keep this default. And after coming into this space, you can actually check this, or you can keep unchecked as well. If you check this, then in your program.cs file, you will see that the traditional brackets functions will be inside a bracket closure. But if you do not use top level statements, then the program.cs file will treat the code as statements without any brackets. So I'll create, and here you will see few default folders will be created. First of all, in the dependencies, there are no dependencies here used yet. There are some analyzers, dependency analyzer and frameworks, but you haven't actually created or added any dependencies for this project specifically for your works. So in the www root folder, you will add all the CSS related files. In the JS folder, JS related file. In the library lib, you have seen that there is also a folder bootstrap, and in the bootstrap there are bootstrap related CSS files. So you can use the bootstrap here, bootstrap CSS. And in the jQuery, there are some jQuery related files, so you can use the jQuery if you want to actually place some operation or do some operation on fly. So all the jQuery related files are already placed here. So basically the Razor application is a kind of monolithic application where UI and backend codes are placed in the same application, not like web API, where the backend API is a different application and your UI is different application. But in Razor, the UI and the backend operation will be placed inside the same solution, inside the same application. So this is a kind of a monolithic application. So whenever you need to propose a solution to your client, and if monolithic application is enough for the solution, then you can choose Razor. So in the pages, you see that index HTML and index HTML, CS HTML. So Razor extension is CS HTML. So when you run the application, and as I said earlier, the program.cs file will contain all the configuration related file, so configuration related statements. So when you run the application, this file will actually run first and configure all the things, and then we'll start your server application. I mean, we'll start your Razor application, and this is the method that will run first for the index page. So if I run this, I trust this no, select no, and you see there is the index.cs HTML file that have been shown, and there is a layout where the layout of the web application is written, and view start, view imports, app setting. Here you will write all the application related settings like database connection string and logging, log level, and all the things. So in the layout, so this is the scripts that will be rendered, and all the jQuery related already written by default. So this is the application, and now you will actually add your files, write codes according to your needs. So I have created a project already. Here, if I run this application, you see that this is the data, and this data has been brought from the MySQL database. My database name is Course Management DB, and I have shown another thing. This is a button where when you click this button, it will show the text that is inside the function that will be triggered, which is triggered on button click. So I will show you the things step by step how I have done the things. First of all, what you have to do, since I have the MySQL database, and for the I will show the courses table data for this simple application. So I will actually show the course name, and there are some columns: ID, course credit, course name. So for this simple application, I will just pick the ID and course name, and for that, in the model, the course, I have created two properties, ID and course underscore name. Remember, the property name should match with the table column name. Although this is case insensitive, but you have to actually remember that the spelling should match accordingly with the database table column. Now, after creating the course model for the table, course, I am now going to write some code in the index.cs HTML and index.cs HTML.cs file, the code behind. So in the pages, in the index.cs HTML, inside the code behind, I have actually initialized the DB context. To use the DB context, what you have to do first, you have to create a class, app DB context. Like for example, you have to go add new class, then you will create app DB context class, name that app DB context, and it will inherit the DB context class. If you do not find the DB context class, what you have to do, you will actually download this from, install this from NuGet package manager, and manage NuGet packages for solutions. And if you search that, you will find the DB context and other things. I have already installed. So DB context is basically under the Microsoft Entity Framework core. So you have to install the Entity Framework core. If you click this, I have already installed. So all the installed things will be shown here. So for the MySQL database, you have to install pomelo.entityframeworkcore.mysql. And for the Entity Framework core, you have to install the Microsoft.Entity Framework core. And since pomelo.entityframeworkcore.mysql is version 9, you have to install the Microsoft.Entity Framework core version 9 I have installed 9.0.15. Otherwise, if you install the latest Microsoft Entity Framework code as per date, which is 10, it will not work because pomelo.entity framework code.mysql is compatible with Microsoft.entity framework code version 9. If you install version 10, it will show incompatible error. So I have both the 9 version, and if you see that in the dependencies packages, I have installed Entity Framework Core and Entity Framework Core MySQL. The system that link you to async is needed if you use the async operation, or actually you need to use any link you async operation, but it is already installed, so I will not install it. Okay. Then after installing these two packages, one is for Entity Framework Core and one is MySQL. Entity Framework Core is actually necessary for creating a DB context. So after that, in the DB context file, you will already get this because it is using the Microsoft.entity framework core. And then in the constructor, you will use this DB context options, and this is the course model that I have declared earlier, and it will be used as a DB set. So this is the simple DB context file, and if you have others model which will be treated as a table, like for example, if you have a customer table and you have a customer model, then you will declare this DB set of type customers. Okay. So these DB sets will be used to fetch your data and create your record or delete your record as well. Now I am going to app setting. In the app setting, since I am using MySQL database instead of Microsoft SQL Server, I will use this connection string, and the connection string that is commented out is for Microsoft SQL Server. So I am using the MySQL connection string. Here in this block, I have server localhost MySQL uses port 3306, and my database name is course management DB, and my user is root, password is root. Now I am going to program. In the program, inside the builder, you have to initialize your connection string. Define your connection string here. Builder.configure get connection string, your connection string name that is written here. And if you do not find the connection, then it will throw an exception message. And after that, you will add this DB context. This is an actually injection, dependency injection. So if you use any service, it should be injected in the program.cs file. So here option I am using MySQL, so use MySQL, then supply the connection string parameter and server version.autodetect connection string. This line you have to define, you have to add to make the connection to the MySQL database. And in the index.cs HTML, in the code behind, in the get async method, this is the method that will run first when you run your application. So what I have done, I have declared a list of type course variable. I have declared the constructor. You can also write the construction inside a bracket like this, but using the lambda expression, it is the short form. And inside the method, I'm using the context dot courses that has been declared in the context and getting the toList async. So what will it do? It will get all the records in the courses table and keep in the courses. And index.cs HTML, if the courses is not null or courses contains any record, then it will iterate over the courses and show the course name. And if I run this application, you see that the data from the courses table is showing here. And if I click in the show data, just for example, I have placed this button as an example, although it is not showing any meaningful data, but if I click this, it is showing this text. Actually, for that, in the index.cshtml, inside the form method, I have defined a button of type submit, and ASP page handler attribute, I have placed the show data handler function. And if I click on the button, it will go there. It will initialize the display message that has been declared here with the bind property annotation, and it will show what has been written in the HTML web page. In the web page, I mean, in case here .cs HTML page. So you have to remember one thing: if the function handler name is show data, you will have to write the on post here, since I have used the on post prefix since the button type is submit, and these are the actually bootstrap classes. And now, for example, you see that one thing: if I run this and show data, my data is gone, because when you click on the show data, it submits the form and refreshes the page, and when the page is refreshed, then this function does not get automatically called, because this function is called when the page is loaded. First time page is loaded initially. So what if you want to show the data even after clicking on the button? What you have to do, you have to type courses. I have to async, since it is awaiting, and async is actually returns a task. So now if I click on the button, it will show the message and also will load the data as well. Let's run the application again. Data is showing here, and I have closed this. I'll run this again. Data is showing here, and if I click, it is showing the text and also showing the loaded data. So this is the simple application that I have shown how to work with Razor and MySQL, and showing the data that has been fetched from the database table. If you want to see other operations like create a record, delete a record, update a record, that you can comment in my comment box, and I will extend this application further. Thank you.